Resolution 24 will be Emma Roddick MSP, to be followed by Pete Wishart MP.
Thank you. Hello, conference. We are not changing party policy with this resolution today. It probably doesn't need to be on the agenda, but I'm very glad that it is, because it's an opportunity for us to show that this is party policy. It is, as the resolution states, an unwavering commitment by the SNP and something that the Scottish Government continues to work on. Now, some try to use this issue to break up the Scottish Government, to do away with the Butte House Agreement, and please do not make the mistake of thinking that people do this to strengthen us. It can only weaken us. That is why the Tories get so chuffed when they can use SNP quotes to throw at us at FMQs. And more importantly, it is creating division where none exists. The Scottish Government is still committed to these projects, and I hope that today's conference decision can reassure people that the wider SNP is as well. I'm not a Green, I am SNP, and I'm a person who wants action on climate change, and these projects are not in opposition to that. I don't want these road improvements because I think all roads need to be dualled and that we shouldn't be discouraging unnecessary car use. We should. But it's that folk like my wee sister, a carer in the Highlands, need to use a car to do their job. And we have to show that we're able to recognise the different situations that people living in rural areas face travelling around. And that in places like Nairn and Elgin, the roads are actually causing pollution and congestion in the town centres, discouraging people from making use of active travel because it's unpleasant and, frankly, unsafe. It's also about more than a road. This is about fulfilling a commitment made to the Highlands. There is real pain in the losses that we've felt when we lose lives on that road. But there's also real pain in the perception, the belief that there's been a broken promise. My constituents are being led to believe that the SNP doesn't really care about the A9 and the A96. So please help us today to be clear that this is not true, that the promise remains and action will continue. So please all stick your hands up when you're asked to pass this resolution and reassure my constituents that the SNP is the party for the Highlands.
Thank you very much, Emma. Our next speaker speaking for Resolution 24 is Pete Wishart MP, who will be followed by Rodri Griffiths speaking against. Welcome, Pete.
Thank you ever so much, conference, and good morning. I've been the MP for the southern part of the A9 for over 20 years. I've lived with this as an ever-present feature and a concern of my constituents for all that time. I remember, as a new Member of Parliament back in 2001, when 3 generations of an Israeli family were killed for making a mistake on the then notorious Ballinluig junction. I said at that point that I will do everything possible to ensure that that road has been made safe. I also lived in Dunkeld for a number of years, one of the most dangerous and probably most notorious junctions that we have on the southern A9. So if anybody's ever experienced trying to get on the A9 from Dunkeld and Burnham, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I've lived cheek by jowl with this road for such a long time. So I will take no lectures of anybody who's hoping to play political games with the duelling of the A9. We'll get down to the business of fixing it. Now, there has been a number of improvements in my constituency. The section between Lunkerty and the Pass of Burnham has been done. And if you have a look at the bottom of the A9, you'll see a little junction going off. That's the Cross Tay Link Road, which is going to open up East Perthshire and have a new route to the north-east. Things are being done and roads are being built. But this isn't an easy project. The A9 dualling is perhaps one of the most intricate and sophisticated pieces of infrastructure that we've ever undertaken. Communities need to be consulted, planning needs to be done, and we have to ensure we do this properly. And I want to speak a little bit just about the speaking to communities, because sometimes we forget them in all of this. I've got the Killiecrankie battlefield in my constituency. That took an awful lot of time to ensure that all the issues around that heritage site were looked after. I know the efforts that the people in Dunkeld are making to get a roundabout in place, and things are getting done. But conference, we have to move on from this. I get sick and tired of listening to the Tories constantly bringing this up in Parliament as if they own the issue. It is us that has been the first government that's ever pledged to dual the A9 in its entirety, and that's been a pledge that's been there. The time is now to meet it and fulfil it. It's time to get a timetable for all the sections to be upgraded, and we have to see that in the autumn. Now, I want that road to be made safe. I want that pledge that we gave to our constituents to be met. So please support this motion, and let's please get on with making this road safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pete. And our final speaker on Resolution 24, speaking against the resolution, please welcome Roderick Griffiths.
Good afternoon, Conference. Prynawn da chi. I'm the second Welsh person to speak after Rhyn ap Iorwerth, and so there are two Welsh people here as well as two Kentish people. And I'm new to the area, I make no apologies for that. So perhaps I can offer the perspective of somebody who's come from, I was living in the southern part of Britain before moving up here, and obviously originally from Wales. This is clearly an environmental issue. It's a contentious issue. I know there are people, well, certainly younger people, who are concerned about we should all be concerned about the climate catastrophe. It's an overwhelming issue. And the transition to net zero is something that we've really got to get to terms with. So this is something that I really think we should look at our priorities very carefully. Personally, I don't believe this should be party policy. It may have been party policy for a long time, but that in itself proves that we should be questioning it. This is road building is it's a way of problem solving that belongs to the past, to the 1950s, to the 1960s. We just look around us here, look at the amount in this area, the amount of tarmac and concrete there is. This is not the approach we should be taking now. We should be looking for a greener, a more environmentally friendly approach. The answer to connectivity, and I was very impressed by the points that were being made by Tracy Little from Dumfries yesterday. If we want to really improve connectivity, we really should be looking at the railways. This is the modern way forward. We should be reopening lines like the Dumfries to Stranraer line. It's good that the line to Fraserburgh and Peterhead is going ahead. This is the way forward. But road building is not the answer. It's and previous speakers have talked about accidents. It's not the fact that the road isn't dualled all the way. It's not to do with the road infrastructure that's causing the accidents. It's the drivers. It's the way that people are driving. So there are other ways to approach this problem, and I know it's something that it may well be unpopular on the doorstep, but I don't think we're not a populist party. I don't think populism is the approach we should be looking for. It's what is progressive, what suits the planet, what suits the environment, and as far as I can see, this just isn't the way forward. So anyway, I hope many of you will agree with me. I'm sure if there were more younger people here, and I'm certainly not young, they'd be agreeing with me. but I really don't believe that the dualling of the A9 and the A96 is the way forward. So I hope you'll join me and vote against this motion. Thank you, Conference. Diolch yn fawr.